trusting that, being optimistic that, we'll find them and they'll be brought home safe.
Good evening, and we begin with words of hope tonight from a Vancouver family desperate to find Michelle Melendez and her 8-year-old daughter, Layla. Police now confirming they believe Michelle's boyfriend, who is already in custody, is somehow connected to their disappearance. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. The case involves domestic violence accusations, and court documents released today reveal clues about the last time Michelle was seen. Mike Benner joins us from Vancouver tonight after talking with the family. Mike?
Yeah, Laurel, I spoke with family late this afternoon, and tell you what, they just light up talking about Michelle and Layla, the two described as having so much energy and being the life of the party, and that really explains why family is so distraught over their disappearance that detectives here at the Vancouver Police Department believe Michelle's boyfriend might have something to do with.
There's always somebody that knows something.
A plea for information about Michelle Melendez and Layla Stewart. The Vancouver mother and daughter have been missing for more than a week. Family is beyond concern.
It's been since last Sunday since anybody heard, seen, or talked to my daughter and granddaughter.
I'm missing a whole part of me. That's my sister and that's my niece. We don't know where they're at.
Michelle and Layla were last seen on March 12th near Northeast 77th Avenue and Vancouver Mall Drive. According to court documents, a friend saw the two with Michelle's boyfriend, Kirkland Warren. The friend says Michelle was unconscious and naked from the waist down.
There was a restraining order against him, a protective order for him to stay away from her.
It all stems from an incident back in December. Warren's accused of shooting up Michelle's apartment on Northeast 66th Avenue. Police arrested him, and despite scoring high on a danger assessment, partly because of a pending murder case in Arkansas, Warren bailed out of jail. He did so without an electronic monitoring device, which is recommended for suspects in domestic violence cases.
He's obviously has some issues, and why would we want that kind of a person out on the street?
Regardless, Warren was arrested again and in court Tuesday, where a judge set bail at $1 million and ordered GPS monitoring should Warren bail out again. This is for violating parole and contacting Michelle after the alleged shooting and right before her and her daughter's disappearance.
Does the family think he's involved in this?
Completely.
But Warren is allegedly refusing to talk to authorities about Michelle Melendez and Layla Stewart, a mother and daughter who've been missing for far too long.
Trying to stay strong. I don't really know how to deal with it.
Trusting in the universe, and trusting that, being optimistic that, we'll find them and they'll be brought home safe.
All right, the Vancouver Police Department needs the public's help. Detectives are asking people with security cameras to check the footage for any sign of 3 cars. One of them is a maroon Dodge Charger, Oregon license plate 812MWM. Another car is a 1999 white Chevrolet Lumina, Washington license plate 3A68206. And finally, a 2011 white Chrysler 200 with a Washington license plate. If you have any information about these cars or know anything about this case, you're urged to call police. I can tell you that the family would greatly appreciate it. Back to you.
Well, Mike, we join the family in praying that Layla and Michelle are brought home safe. Thank you. And now to our homeless crisis and the city of Portland's latest attempt to deter people from camping along high crash corridors. They've now put up barriers to block traffic and homeless people along sections of Southeast Powell Boulevard in areas where there are many dangerous homeless camps. But the big question, is it working? Blair Best reports.
You may notice something different on sections of Southeast Powell Boulevard. Barriers blocking traffic along 3 frontage roads, inlets that are typically overrun with homeless camps.
I thought it probably was related to homelessness.
Lee Ellen lives by one of the blocked frontage roads. These barriers are the city's latest attempt to stop homeless people from camping along high crash corridors that are particularly hazardous. They're also meant to deter traffic. But in reality, they're causing confusion for some drivers.
They just go out the one way, which is kind of dangerous.
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction. A lot more needs to be done.
Dan Sprower owns an apartment building off one of the frontage roads that used to be filled with homeless camps.
Screaming, defecation, public defecation where you can see it, not even in the bushes, needles.
That camp was cleared prior to the barriers, which have since been pushed over.
Obviously, there's so much to be done.
While the barriers seem to be working along certain parts of Southeast Powell where it's deterring traffic and homeless camps, if you come a few streets up, like here off Southeast 74th, you see it's filled with campers and RVs. And if you look this way, you'll see that there's a memorial and some flowers set up. Now that's where a homeless person was shot and killed about 2 weeks ago.
A lot of the people that are here cannot control their situation.
Kai has been homeless in Southeast for a few years and sees these frontage roads as an invitation to set up camp, regardless of the safety concerns.
Because there isn't anything else here, you know what I mean?
And as for the barriers, he says they're anything but a solution.
If they want to be efficient about it and they want to do it in a way that it compromises for both sides, they need to find an alternative location that is safe for the people that are going there, and they need to give something to them that is clean, orderly, you know what I mean?
So it sounds like you're describing what the mayor is actually looking to do. He wants to build these large designated camping sites where it's going to be clean, access to hygiene, and access to services.
That would be awesome. That would be really awesome. I think that's a very intelligent idea.
In Southeast Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
And speaking of our homeless crisis, city leaders want to hear from people living near Southeast Portland's Hosford-Abernathy neighborhood. You heard Blair touch on it there. A vacant lot near Southeast Powell and 13th is slated to be the first of 6 sanctioned homeless camping sites. Leaders say they are now seeking input from residents and business owners in the area and also want to develop what they are calling a good neighbor agreement. Now, the first meeting is tonight. It gets underway at 5:30. The second is Thursday, also at 5:30. Both are virtual. Keep in mind, you're going to need to register in advance on the city's website. Our Alma McCarty will be listening in this evening, and we'll have an update later tonight on KGW News.
The Oregon Health Authority is launching an investigation into Legacy Medical's Mount Hood Birth Center. As we've been reporting, Legacy said it planned to shut the center down as of Friday, even if it didn't receive the okay from the state. OHA says it's looking into reports maternity patients are now being redirected to Randall Children's Hospital. The hospital could face penalties, including a suspension of its license.
Let's talk about gun violence and gun crime in our area. And with Measure 114 essentially on hold as it winds its way through the courts, several Democratic lawmakers are now efforting 3 new bills they say could help slow it. That gun violence, that is. Brian Clerkley is in the newsroom this evening. Brian, you talked to a North Portland business owner who says he's looking for essentially anything that helps.
Yeah, David, Nick Klassen with Spar Tech Industries says someone shot several rounds into their building over the weekend. They're used to dealing with vandalism and theft, but this is on another level.
It must have been a wild Saturday night. Check out the 20 bullet holes shot through this building on North Argyle Street in Northeast Portland's Kenton neighborhood.
We found 6 or 8 of these laying around the shop, gave some of them to the cops already. We found these this morning, but the guys started looking around and we found bullet holes in our electrical panel, on our stairs, in our walls.
Nick Klassen runs Spar Tech Industries. They work to automate manufacturing equipment. His employees are at work today, but safe to say uneasy about it, having to walk past the police evidence markers counting the bullet holes.
What happens if that happens during business hours? I mean, we're really putting our employees in danger.
As gun violence ravishes the city of Portland, a group of 5 Democrat Oregon lawmakers have created a package of new bills to address gun violence. One would ban ghost guns, which are homemade guns with parts that can be purchased without a background check or serial number. Another would raise the age you could purchase a gun from 18 to 21, but would have specific exemptions for hunting, military service, and law enforcement requirements.
I was struck by the fact that 6 of 9 of the deadliest shootings in recent years were committed by young people with firearms that were designed for war.
And the last would give local governments the ability to adopt rules restricting guns and concealed carry weapons in their buildings or on their grounds.
What I recognized is that there are things that we can do and an approach that is reflective of the way Oregon approaches problems, that could both respect the rights of gun owners and at the same time make a significant difference in our overall safety.
Back in Kenton, Klassen hopes police can patrol the area more to hopefully deter some of the crime, but isn't holding his breath.
We're now looking at moving out of Portland. I mean, we have to. I mean, for the safety of our employees, if the city leadership isn't going to do something, it's forcing us to do that.
The Democratic lawmakers are working with Republicans because this issue is so controversial. They don't know how these bills will be received. Laurel.
Well, I know you'll keep us posted on the progress of the bills. Thank you, Bryant.